Hi everybody, in today's how-to, we're going to have a look at some changes that have occurred recently to ArcGIS story maps. So if you don't know how to access story maps, you simply go to the little waffle pod on the top right of your home screen, and that will drop down all the ArcGIS online applications you have access to, and story maps is the tealy coloured one with the book. Now, once you've gone ahead and clicked on that, it will open all the story maps that you've ever created previously. If you've never used this before, then there won't be anything there. To create a new story map, you simply need to go on Create Story and start from scratch. Once a new story map opens, it's pretty much a blank slate, so we can design anything that we want from here. So I'm not going to go into how to actually create and design a story maps because we've got those videos online. But I am going to go into a few of the changes that have happened since June 2025. So any of you that know these changes, don't worry about it. But those of you that don't know, please follow along. So we've got the design tab at the top here. The design tab is pretty much the same, apart from we've got an extra cover. So we previously had 5 covers, now we've got 6, so an extra one to choose from. With the themes, we've originally had these 6 here, so the Summit, Obsidian, these 6 here. But if you actually go on that featured themes gallery, it brings up a heap more options. And so you can just select one and you can see there that the entire story map is now bright purple. If I wanted a different one, I could again go ahead and select it and you can see immediately the story map changes. I'm actually going to leave that purple one because I've never used it before. And so you can see there then that they actually go into your select themes at the bottom here as well. So these are the ones that we've just had to play with. But you can actually create your own as well, but it does take a little bit of time. So I would just use the ones that we've provided, but feel free to have a play. Another difference is we've got this Insights tab now at the top. This is basically insights of your story. So once you've actually published your story and shared it with people, you can get information on how many people have seen your story, any kind of reviews, any synopsis of your story, that kind of thing. So feel free to have a play with that if you've got any published stories. Everything else is relatively the same in this top portion. For those of you that don't know, you add an image or video to the cover by just clicking on this space here. And then again, you can change the design of what that cover looks like by clicking on any of these, and you can see that it's now changing. But a few things that have actually changed is if we go ahead and click on the little green plus button, everything else is relatively the same in the basics section. So text, all the same, button separated the same. This code is a new section that has been introduced in June, and this is not for posting code and then the computer does what the code is outlining. This is actually just like a snippet. So it's not going to be performing the code that you've put in there. It's just going to be sharing that specific code through the story map. So just so that you know. Not much has changed in the data visualization section either. However, if you click on map now, you'll see that instead of just being able to select the maps that you've created in ArcGIS Online, you can also go ahead and click New Express Map. This map actually has a lot of features for you to draw on, and you can see there that this map is very much suited to the theme that I've chosen, which again can be changed. So this is very much a little map that I can just do a couple of tags on. Maybe I want to upload an image here. Pictures. Let's just upload a random image here. Brilliant. So maybe we saw, I don't know why the whale shark would be on land, but maybe we saw whale shark. You can name it here. You can change the color of the pins. You can do all sorts of things. Again, if I save that now, you can see that it's creating a little legend for me that will also be available in the map. So if I go ahead and click on that point now, you can see it brings up the image of the whale shark and the little synopsis. And if I go ahead and press save, again, you can see that point there. And if I click on it, there's the information. Now, what if I wanted to get a legend attached to this? So anytime that you save a map in Story Maps, you can simply just press the little edit pencil and it will bring you back up to this editing screen. If I go over to the little cog here, you can see I can choose all kinds of things here. So I can actually click on the base map and select a different one. So maybe I don't want that kind of weird watercolor feature. Maybe I want satellite imagery. Maybe I want, some kind of ocean themed map. Whatever it might be, you can change the base map. You can allow people to navigate. Again, if I click that little legend tab there and toggle it on, you can see now my legend appears and you can see my whale shark tag. The other thing about the legend in the Quick Express maps is when you click on it, it actually takes you to that point. So it's more of an interactive legend as well than just a normal legend from ArcGIS Online. So that's something to be aware of. And if I go ahead and press save, and it goes back to my original storyboard, then you'll be able to see that the legend has formed. And there we have it. So what else has changed in ArcGIS Story Maps? So we can see here that we've got a charts option. Now, this is still in its very early stages, but you can see that you can create very basic charts here. So if I just go ahead and click on these, then you can see I can label them. Maybe I want to say, sharks and the amount of sharks. So I could say here, great white. I could say here tiger shark. I could say here whale shark. The list goes on and on. And you can see that my labels are now changing at the bottom. Shark. And again, I can just pretend that this is my amount, but you can see here what's going on. So if I click on these, you can be interactive with them and you can see, again, if I click on that cog, you've got a lot of options here. You can change the color palette. You can change it from a donut to a line chart to whatever it is that you want to be having a look at. You can see the different ones there. And again, I can give it a title. So you can see that the title is uploaded there. We can also allow data labels and all that jazz. But if I go ahead and press save, again, it's just embedded into the story map and it's all very interactive for me to click on and play with. So that's perfect. Another one that I think is really interesting is we've got this infographic now, which is being introduced. So I can go ahead and maybe I want a stacked one, for example, and I can go ahead and say, 10,000 corals bleached, just as an example. And then I don't think the book icon is very useful for this, so I can go ahead and click on the little drop down there and it brings up all these different things. So I've got a nice coral there, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. And I can go ahead and save that. And again, you've got this nice big infographic here. Again, it can be huge. It can be titchy tiny with writing on the side of it. It can be smack bang in the middle. It's completely up to you. Another thing that has changed here, everything else is pretty much the same. There's a table, uploading of imagery, but this is a new thing that they've introduced recently, and that is the 360 imagery. So this is quite an engaging one. So if I was to just select a panoramic image that I've got, I actually just downloaded this one from the internet because I didn't have one handy, and add it to my map, what you can see here is it looks like a basic image. I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. Looks like a basic image, but then if I actually start to turn it, you can see, and just give it a second to load because I have just uploaded it. But you can see here that I can play with this and go all the way around and look, see the pretty sunset there. So absolutely amazing. I love that. And again, you've got some arrows down at the bottom here to, look around and have a bit of a play with it. Everything else is pretty much the same, but we have got a few other things. So for example, we've got the ArcGIS app section that has now been added, which basically means if you've got any content from other applications in ArcGIS Online that you would like to include, for example, a different story map, a Survey 123, a dashboard, or some kind of instant app, for example, you don't need to go ahead and go and find it and now, find the URL and embed it anymore. You can simply just select one of them. And you can see here, it will instantaneously add it to my story map. So this is a Survey 123 that I created. And again, all I needed to do was use that apps button, and it's embedded it immediately for me. So that means I don't have to go around trying to find, where my Survey 123 was that I want to include and getting the URL, and it's just a lot of faffing around. Now it's very quick and simple to add anything from your ArcGIS Online account into a story map, which is great. Everything else is pretty much the same. Sidecar has got another option now where the slideshow has been embedded into Sidecar. And then with the map tour, if you have a look here, you've got list viewer now and grid viewer. So list viewer is more of you take them on a specific journey. So you want them to go to location A, B, C, D in a journey, whereas the grid is more like user's choice. So whoever the reader is, they can select where they want to go and have a bit of a play with that. But apart from that, everything else is the same. So I thought I'd just give you a really brief overview of some of the changes that have happened to story maps recently. And again, if anyone's got any questions or has anything that they need to talk to me about, please just do email me through. But yeah, I hope this was helpful, and I will send you another video next week. Thank you.